Oh, hey. Good morning, guys. Welcome
Hold up. Wait a minute.
back. So, the last couple of videos hasn't been that quite exciting, really. I haven't had that much going on. Due to the fact that I've been waiting for some parts to come in. Yeah, I know. I've got Lorcan with me today, so I'm going to try and keep him occupied as well as you guys, without letting him outside and making several escape attempts like last time. However, back to the point of the matter, the parts are in. So my plan today, I've got all the gaskets and clips and spinny doodads and weird webs, I've got all that, it's all in. So the plan today is to start putting it all back together and getting it on the car. Do the gun on the gearbox, get all that back together. Do the gum on the clutch, get all that back together and on the car. Oil pickup back on, oil sump back on, do all the gaskets. I'm going to make a gasket as well, which I'll show you how to do at home. And then, yeah, that's the plan for today. Just get it all back on and get some actual traction going on this. So you know the drill, get that kettle on. I'm going to take the dog for a walk quick and go and get my own. And I'll catch you over here by the bits. See you in a bit. Come on. Oh, cup of tea. Right, so far I'm up to date here and I'll get you up to date. So the bushings for the gear linkage, I've made a few of those, and what I couldn't make, I've sort of welded up the play a little bit so that it's nice and smooth and there's not much play in there now. There is still a little bit of play. I'm never going to be like microbially accurate with what I've got, but I'm quite happy with that. So the last thing I need to do is I clean this up with some degreaser and some petrol, and I've managed to find that the leak is coming from where I put these tape. So there's a little inspection plate here on the back of the overdrive, which it's leaking from, and along the join of the gearbox to the overdrive there's like a small little adapter before it hits the overdrive, and it's leaking from there. So my plan is not to take this apart, put new gaskets in it, because it will take me an age to get it all back together. So my plan is to slowly, well, this inspection plate's not going to be hard, take that off, put some gum on it, put it back in, and then to separate this seam very slightly with a flat screwdriver or what have you, and then get some gum in there as well to try and prevent that leak as much as I can. Then I have some parts to go back on. So I've got the clutch slave to rebuild, I've got some rubbers to put in there, and then I have some other bits and bobs as well. So I've got a new gearbox mount for it. I've painted the cross member because this is quite rusty and mucky, cleaned it all off, got the rust off, and then just painted it. Yeah, it's green, but it's underneath the car, and as long as it's got paint on it, it's going to prevent the rust. I'm not bothered what colour it is, as you'll find out now. Here is the sump. Ooh, yeah, nice and look at that. Yum. Right, so I thought, yeah, it's going to be covered in shit anyway, so I thought I'll just paint it baby shit. Again, you saw how rusty it was, so my idea was just to get the rust off it and get paint of any description on it. You don't have to go out and buy stuff. Whatever you've got will suffice. Paint is paint is paint. Didn't like themystically say that or something. So that's what I'm going to crack on with now, and then we'll start on the sump. Try and separate this as best as I can. Machined a tiny little tool there, which should be able to reach in between this gap, and try and separate them a little bit. Might need a hammer. Right, you happy with that? Happy with that gap? Yes, okay. Some multi-purpose silicone sealant replaces any size of preformed gasket in minutes, withstands high temperatures, forms a tough waterproof seal. I mean, yeah, as long as it's stops it leaking, or at least prevents it leaking as bad as it was before. We'll see. I'll try and get a nice bath shower bead on it. No, it wasn't a massive leak. It was just a weep, you know, so it's not like I'm having to replace the whole gasket. It may sound like common sense to most, but it wasn't to me when I first started learning. Lick your finger and it doesn't stick to your finger. I mean, may as well do a bit here as well. I mean, keep it going, you know what I mean? I can already hear car enthusiasts now screaming at the television. I am sorry, but this is just the way I'm doing it, alright? With your car, you can do whatever you like, but this is mine, so you're gonna have to deal with it, okay? My friend Sean, he, who I worked with for a few weeks, he's got his own Land Rover, and I can see him now. I can actually hear him now laughing at me. So Sean, if you're watching, who's laughing now? You're in Scotland. Now I'm going to button all this back up, and then I'm going to get the slave off next so that I can help revive that guy. So tighten all this back up, and that should nip onto all that lovely, delicious sealant that I've just put on there. Liquid gasket. Oh yeah, I need to do the inspection plate and then I'll get onto that. What a noise. Sorry for viewers watching, that must have been awful. As I scraped about 19 pieces of paint into the bloody oil pan. Come on. Okay. Now, the sump gasket itself, if you remember I said comes in bits. Because it's too big to send as a oneer, apparently. So it comes like a little jigsaw puzzle. Now you get two types of gaskets for these. You get cork ones, which are usually the older style, and you get the, oh no, would you look at that? For God's sake, man. Just bloody made one then. A cork style gasket, which are the older ones, and you get the new modern ones, which are rubber. These can come off and go back on. So they're designed so that you can take the sump off and reuse the same gaskets. So that looks like one of those. Let's lay this down. Does it? Yes, I think so. This one looks like it's a home straight, that one, I'd say. Yeah, boy. What's this one? That's a U-bend. Nice. Nice U-bend, guys. Beep. Oh. It's the wrong way around. Beep. Beep, beep, beep. And then we got frontal situation. That way? Nope. Rewind. That way? All right. Okay, cool. You come on. You know you want to. You too good for your home? Right, I can see that being a problem. Don't really fit very well. Okay, there's the crack. Now, the idea behind these, a gasket on the sump, you'll see these have certain recesses in them here, little channels. Right, the idea of the gasket is to lie flat on that, and when you bolt it up, compresses and it fills those channels, right? They usually say that you shouldn't have to put Eterno gum on these, but I'm going to put a thin layer, and I mean thin, along here just to fill those valleys to aid in the sealing of that gasket. And then when I put it onto the underside of the engine, I'm going to do the same. Very lightly, I'm not pelting this thing, covering it in all sorts, but just enough so I can get those valleys filled, just to help it along. Again, like anything in this game, everyone has their own opinions, everyone has their own methods. I can hear some of you screaming at the television saying, "What are you doing, you moron?" And I appreciate that, I can understand that from a point of view, but whatever works for you, works for you. Alright, and I wouldn't be doing this if I hadn't done it in the past and it didn't work. I'm not making this up as well, okay, yeah, I first time round I was making it up as I was going along. So, you know what I mean? If it worked for me the first time, I'm going to assume it works the second. So just cut me some slack, guys, alright? Oh, yes! The batteries are very, very flat. Come on, power. Oh. Come on. Do. Come on and do the complete Caroline. Do. Come on, machine. Oh. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yes! 16 hours and 34 minutes. New record, that. Right. Although there was a gasket in that set over there, I'm going to use the gasket we made. Where are you? Because I'm practicing what I preach, and I want to prove to you that this works. So, get that on there. Oh, where are the bolts? Oh, yes! Past Frank has looked after future Frank, and he's put the bolts back in. So I don't even have to search for them. What a guy. Right, okay. Yes. Yes, girl. Yes. And which way am I going here? I've put the bloody gasket on the wrong way round. I am a moron. Oh no, that was the, put it on upside down. I am a moron. So, my dad is coming to help me later on today, because of course when it comes time to putting the gearbox back on, I'm not going to be able to do that on my own. Taking it off was hard enough. Granted, I forgot to take the speedo cable off and the clutch and all that, so I was attached whilst with gearbox in arms, screaming for help, which was not cool. I'm pretty glad I didn't film that. So yeah, I'm gonna get his help today. Oh, just someone to help me hold it steady whilst we operate the lift. I might have to get multiple hands to help actually, but we'll see. We'll see. Hiya! Hiya! Click. Good. Lorcan, don't go too far. Lorcan, here. Good boy. Over here. Sit. Right, wait there. Wait. Right, so now I've done the gum, I'm going to stick the gasket on to the gum itself, which will hold it in place when I marry it up to the bottom of the engine. Just wait there. So that's the next step I'm going to do. Now that pickup's back on, gasket on, up onto the engine. So I'm doing this so that I can make sure that the holes marry up. Because I don't want to get up there. Wait, I don't want to get up there and the holes not to marry up when I'm trying to put the bolts in, you know what I mean? Because then it just saves me trouble when I'm up there. Was that a car? Anyway, so you get what I'm saying. Where's the other bit? There we go. You're a good boy, isn't you? Oh, yeah. Just sit. Right, sit. Sit. Wait there. Just wait. That's not going to fit. So the holes don't quite match up at all, actually. The holes do not match up at all. What on earth? Maybe I've got it the wrong way around. Oh no, I have got it upside down. Bagger! Oh no! Got it upside down, guys. Where's the last one? Is that one? Yeah. What are you sniffing at there? Right. I think we're there now. Let's get it on. Now, all the bolts that I couldn't put back in where they needed to go, I've put them all in here. So always keep track of where your nuts and bolts go. Granted, it's going to take me 17 billion years to sort all these out, but at least I've got them, you know what I mean? $999,000. And tell you what, if you think about it, the car's going to be travelling forward, the oil's going to come to the back. So I want to tighten the back up first, really. I mean, if you're going to get scientific about it. If you're going to be pedantic about it, it probably doesn't matter that much, but this is where it was leaking from, so I feel like that would be the best place to start. Have to be absolutely ugga-duggered on there. They've just got to be tight enough to stop the, just to create a seal. You don't have to be like hermetically sealed on there. Just as long as they're tight. Just T, not FT, as my dad would say. Just tight, not fucking tight. Yes, perfect. So, next part is going to be getting the flywheel back on. I'm just trying to make sure that these are the right size. So the nuts are quite awkward. They're not conventional nuts. I don't know if you can see that. But they are 12 pointed. I think that's 12, but they're the pointed ones. So you need a corresponding socket to match. Oh, we haven't done a Name That Tune yet, have we? Hang on. Oh, I'll take one with me. Okay. What song do you think? What song do you think? Okay, we'll do that one. I'll see if I can remember how to play it though. Go on, name that tune. Come on, let's put this flywheel on. Ooh. There's nothing scientific about putting the flywheel back on, apart from exactly the way that you put it on before. The opposite of the way you took it off, in fact. So there's no locating dowel. I'm just going to get it on there. Oh. Okay. Nope. Yes. Can't get the next one in. Now I'm blind because of this fucking light. Ah!
I
I'm blind.
LEDs are fantastic. Good God, do they blind the shite out of me. Oh, okay, I see. Oh yeah, as I was saying, so I mean, there's some of you, I can hear you now, you're supposed to put, when putting these back in, they say, or there are some that say, that you're supposed to Loctite these, and Loctite is sort of like an automotive super glue and it stops them coming out again. But I mean, if they're tight, it sounds like a bit of overkill to me, and I've not had anything come undone yet from back here. So I mean, and usually if it is coming loose, you'll hear it when you're changing the gear, so you just stop and then sort it out. But as usual, there'll be people in the comments with their own opinions and their own experience and their own advice. And who am I to say they're wrong? What are you playing with over there? Loctite is just another fluid I need to buy, and well, you know, my thing is just, I don't have any money at the minute. So you got to do what you got to do, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'll be here again. Oh yeah. Oh, click clack. Ah, yeah, there we go. Right, now for the clutch and the flywheel. This next bit's a little bit, not tricky, but awkward. It's doable, it's just a bit of an arse trying to get it to do. You'll see, we'll get, yeah, come on, yeah, I'll get there. I'll show you rather than talking. I hear you, just do the thing, come on. You'll remember, I'm sure, that up against that goes this, the pressure plate. In between that goes this, the new clutch. Which way does it go in? That way round. So on this one, the sticky outy bit is going away from the engine. So I need to put them together, like so, and then bolt that on. Now the problem I'm going to have is this clutch needs to remain central inside that, because it can move around. So my plan is to just marry that up with that for now, keep the clutch in between them, and just put one bolt in, not even tight, just so that it's holding it in place. And then what I'm going to do is try and central this and then tighten it all up together. That's the plan anyway. There's only supposed to be two. So one's there and one is there. Right. Boom. That's on. Now, usually what people have is like you can buy a plastic, like a retainer, because you can see that moves. It's like a plastic pretend prop shaft, like a bit of one with a hole on the end of it, and it can help you locate that. Obviously, I haven't got one of those, so I'm just going to use the old one of these. So I'll put the bolts in very loose, and then I'll tighten them up just to the point where I can still move this, but very, 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 you know, it's quite stiff to move. And then I'll eyeball it, you know what I mean? I'll measure it, you know, scientifically with my brain and my eyeballs, and then button it all up, and then it'll take me about 4 hours getting the gearbox on because it won't be lined up. So you'll see me, you'll get there, you'll see what I mean. Right, what size are these? 13s, I think. Right, now that's on. You can still see that that's movable in there. So I'm going to tighten those up one by one until, not too tight, but so that they're starting to bite. See, look, I've tightened that one up now, and it is getting difficult to move. So what I'll do is I'll do the same on this one, or one opposite, I suppose. God, Jesus! And then that way I can locate this, and then when it's in place, yes, perfect, a little bit more, when it's in place I can lock it out. Let me see, need the eyes, bloody hell, Right, it's too good. Oh, not far off, guys. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. Yeah, that's looking good. Let's give it one of those. A quarter turn. Yeah. See how it looks now. Oh, so you can see there I turned it a quarter of a turn to see if it was still centre, and it needs to go over to the right a tiny bit. Good. Still central. Wants to come left tiny bit. Probably come with, I reckon that's fucking bob on there. Yeah, I'm in. I reckon we're there. You don't need all these fancy tools and expensive spanners and magic extra bits. You don't need it. All you need is your brain and your eyes. Right. Oh, like a dream. Still central? Yep. Yo! Fucking. Who are you? Nice. I reckon we're there. I reckon we're there, guys. Right. Right. So you remember. Oh no, that's the rebuild kit. This needed a new rubber, which I've managed to get one for, a new cap. But it's, do you know what I mean? So I'll get a screwdriver, take that off. Now for those of you that have seen me do I did the brake master cylinder on this. No, in fact, was it the brake or the clutch? Probably both. And, oh, there you go. On the inside of these it's mostly just a piston inside a tube. And they have to have a rubber seal on them so that when you press the clutch or press the brake, it creates a seal with which to be able to push that piston to activate the brake or the clutch or whatever it is. And usually it's good practice to give these a good clean and to replace the rubber in them, because if you harken back to 1972, the rubber in those days is not going to be the same as it was back then now. It's going to be very brittle, it's going to be knackered. So I nipped down to Graham Walker. I got a rebuild kit for it. It's just a couple of rubbers. And I don't know how much that was, like £7 or something like that. In that range. And if you remember, I thought these were pressed in. They're not. That would be ridiculous. There's a small C-clip here. How you doing? Oh. Get him to sit. Tell him to sit.
You alright?
Yeah, you okay?
I'm alright, yeah. How are you getting on with it?
Yeah, good. And the vast majority of the bits are done now on the gearbox, so I'm just going to put some oil in it. Dad's gone to find a bit of wood, and then we're going to get it back on the car. We've had to make up some clips and stuff out of some washers and sprung washers, and yeah. So we've had to do a little bit of magic, but it's on, it's in, it's working. So next part, we'll get the jack, get some blocks of wood, and we'll try and get it in. We're hoping some of the guys here at the yard will be able to help us today, but they're all quite ill. So it's going to be just me and Dad. So we'll see how we get on. When you're putting oil in them, fill it up till it's just coming out of the bottom of that fill plug, and then that's you. You're in. You're in. But it's not, it's oil, not urine. We're in. Where's the spanner gone? No? Yes. It's in. It's in. Took about half an hour, 2 cups of teas, loads of swearing. 10-minute break, another half an hour, 2 cups of teas, loads of swearing. But it's in. The thing is, you need like you know, if you were going to do it properly, if you were doing it often enough, you'd need a gearbox lift or a gearbox jack and the correct tools to do it. But I don't do it this often, so it's planks of wood, tyres and a woodworking table. But it's in. Right, got to get the bolts in now, back in, and then the starter motor on. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we're moving on. Try to get that fucking bolt in there. I've got this one in. Where is it? There. Now this one. Always had to take the bonnet off. Just so I can record this part for you, what can I use to point? That there is the starter motor in there, if you can see. The bolt is held in by 2 bolts, one at the bottom and one at the top. Now the one at the top's, one at the bottom's very easy to get to, one at the top, you can see it there, just to that tip. Ignore the dog whinging. So to get in there, you have to reach through here with a long bar, one of these bad boys, and another bar. Nightmare. You have to get the bar in first and then get the ratchet in between and try to clip the ratchet in, because obviously the bolt's pushing it out. So if you use the big bar, the ratchet comes in line with this pipe and you can't get at it. So you have to use 2 of these, because 2 of those are shorter than 1 of those by about a knob. Absolute mission. Right. Things got a little bit exciting there in the end. And I didn't have much time to film things because we were busy swearing and large pieces of metal were being thrown around. Long story short, it's in. It's 5 o'clock now. Me and the lad have been here since 8. So we're bloody knackered and we're tired. So we're going to go home now. It's my birthday on Monday as well, by the way. So I might come back tomorrow, I might not. But what we've achieved today, gearbox sorted, and gearbox back in, big achievement. Sump squared, sumps back on, oil pickup on, made a gasket, that's pretty cool, made a gasket, taught you guys how to keep something alive. Also, flywheel on, new clutch in, pressure plate on, gearbox in, all the bolts are in. The vast majority of this afternoon has took getting the bolts in from the bell housing to the engine and getting the starter motor, those bolts in. Those are especially difficult. I know, we'll be going soon. Come here. Those are especially difficult. The bottom one, not so much, but the top one, because you have to reach into the engine bay in between the exhaust pipes to get at it, and then it's a weird... I'm done with it for today. So if I do come down tomorrow, it'll only be for a couple of hours. I might stick a bonus on the end of this video, do like a separate video, where I'll put the prop shaft in and do some other bits and bobs. What else did we do today? we redid the clutch slave as well. We got a lot done today. It's been a big day. It's been a big Saturday. So I'll be back tomorrow to do a small little bits. And then I'm having Monday off because it's my birthday. So thank you very much for watching. You can see we're getting there. Look forward to next episode, which will be after I get the prop shaft in, which will be getting this moving. Dad, long story short, Dad needs a lift. So it's got to get out of the way. Thank you very much for watching and for getting to this point. I know there's about 6 of you left, so thank you very much for watching, you 6. And I am knackered, he's starving, we're going to go home. Come on. So if you like it, give it a like. If you don't, give me one of those, but let me know down in the comments. And yeah, let me know what song that was as well. See you later. Come on you, let's go.